Oh, Monica, you know what? We love MapleLeafs.com, but there is only one Leaf Nation HQ, and it is right here at the Air Canada Centre at Gate 1, and you can always stop by and find the crew here on home game days. Tonight is the last of the season. It is Ottawa taking on Toronto on Hockey Night in Canada. Time to bring you items of note brought to you by Bridgestone, and Mark Osborne, you're up first.
And Jody, you know what? The Marlies had a dramatic victory last night in overtime, and here a couple of guys on the Leaf roster have played the whole season here with the Toronto Maple Leafs. Jonas Frogren and Nikolai Kulemin are eligible to, in fact, play for the Marlies. Look for them to make their appearance there in the playoffs. That could be some added part of their development for the playoff stride.
Well, item of note number 2, Senator Captain Daniel Alfredson, who is enemy number 1 to Leaf fans, will not play tonight due to a sore back and jaw. And although the fans will miss the opportunity to boo him, the Leafs won't, as he has been a dominant scorer against them with 28 goals and 32 assists for 60 points in 61 games all-time versus Toronto. This includes 3 goals in the last 3 games.
Well, right there, Danny Heatley, a.k.a. Heater. And boy, oh boy, does he ever heat it up when he faces the Toronto Maple Leafs. As a Sen in those 36 games, 27 goals and 50 points. He loves the Battle of Ontario.
Item of note number 4 will be the man trying to stop them. Martin Gerber will be making his first start against his old club tonight. But before he was claimed by the Leafs off waivers, he did play in 100 games with the Sens over the course of 3 seasons, where he had a 49, 36, and 8 record with the club.
Well, let's go to Toronto Maple Leaf goaltending. Martin Gerber gets the start tonight, 5-5 as a member of the Toronto Maple Leafs, and one has to wonder whether he fits into Toronto's plans next season as a backup, or might there be a starting role for him somewhere, Mark Osborne, in the National Hockey League?
Well, you know what? Obviously he'd like to stay here. In some of those games against Washington, yes, and against the New Jersey Devils, he looked incredible, and why wouldn't you take a chance when you're probably not going to have to pay a lot of money, and a guy that you know can get the job done would be worth the risk. Not sure what Brian Burke exactly is going to do, though.
All right, EA Sports, it's in the game question, brought to you by NHL 09. And the question tonight goes to the panel. And can we start with you, Paul? Do you think that Wednesday night was Curtis Joseph's last start as Maple Leaf?
I've got to go with my brain and not my heart, and yes, I do think it was his last night as a member of the Maple Leafs. Curtis will be 42 years of age on April the 29th. He has thrived so well in the second half of the season. He had a bunch of personal problems that were really difficult to handle in the early part of the season. He has progressively gotten better on his athleticism and his ability to compete. But I think going forward, the Leafs want to develop someone, and I think looking ahead in that regard, they're bringing somebody else in.
I would agree with you, Henny. The fact is, I think over the course of this year, not so sure the coaching staff did show a lot of confidence in Curtis Joseph. I don't see that changing come next season. You need another backup to Vesa Toskala on a go-for-it basis. Not sure if Justin Pogge is the guy, but I think we've seen Curtis Joseph's days come to an end as the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Well, I think both of you gentlemen summed it up very nicely there, and I think the other thing that factors into it was your answer prior to the question, which involved Martin Gerber and how he could be a very capable backup for this team, and he's definitely shown that he's a bona fide younger NHL goaltender, and that might be the key ingredient for Curtis Joseph, unfortunately ending his career as a Maple Leaf.
That brings us to Vesa Toskala, who managed to find some success in his 2 seasons so far as a member of the Maple Leafs. Combined 55 wins, and you think of all his hip and groin problems, that this guy comes into a season healthy, what he is capable of doing, Mark.
Absolutely, Henny, because you look at last year, I thought he was one of the top 5 in the Eastern Conference. Let's give him a mulligan this year. Did not play well at the start of the year, but interesting enough, just before he ended up calling it quits for the season, played his best hockey. I think the future looks good for Vesa Toskala. Let's allow him to rehabilitate over the course of the summer. He'll come back and he'll be much, much improved. You can count on it.
All right, over to Justin Pogge now, who had been slated as the heir apparent, Mark Morrow. I wonder if the upcoming Marley playoffs might dictate where Justin Pogge fits into Toronto's long-term plans or not.
I think they very well might, and by no means do I think the club is going to write off Justin Pogge, even if things don't go well within this playoffs. But this is his opportunity to really establish himself under that pressure. He had mixed results under the NHL spotlight, but here it is in a do-or-die situation of playoff hockey. It was one of the big reasons this organization really wanted to help the Marlies get through the playoffs, judging their call-ups and different decisions that way so that they could get the team there. Team is there now. Now they're looking for him to carry that load.
All right, we have to take another quick break here on the pregame show, but when we come back, it's my favorite segment. Oh, I can't believe it's the last one of the season. Oh, tell me something I don't know is next. The guys have some great ones lined up to wrap this season up. Jamal Mayers is one.